Hey, welcome to Big E's Auto. I'm Big E. Today we're going to try a four-wheel independent alignment on the C4. A lot of the same principles that we use. I don't know if you guys would check out the video where we did the alignment on third. We did a string alignment on there. Found out that toe adjustment was out a little bit, so we remedied that. This year we're going to also try Camber. Let me see if I can find something here. Try and explain to you. So let's just say we got, this is your tire, this is the top of your tire, this is the bottom of your tire. So what you want to do is have your zero camber is when it's straight up and down. Your tire's perfectly straight up and down, and that's okay if you're going straight down the highway with no turns. If you want, we can do negative camber, which brings the top of the tire in. Okay, so the more negative camber you run, the more you can throw it around in the corners. But the problem is, if you get too much, that bottom of the, let's say this is the bottom of the tire, it's going to lift. Okay, so you want to keep as much of the tire in contact with the road, but still run negative camber, so that way you have better handling. It's that fine line. We have the car strung up. We're also going to check the toe on it. Almost all the specs that I see in setups want to have an 1/8 inch toe in on the rear. So we're going to check that. We're going to adjust that, and we're going to check. We're going to see if we can squeeze a little more negative camber out of it. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that. We're going to take some measurements. I'm going to show you how to do it. We're going to be using grease plates, we're going to be using a magnetic angle finder, and I'm going to be using a piece of square stock steel as a flat surface to take my measurements. And I'll show you how that all works as the video moves along here. So let me get this thing set down on the grease plates, and we're going to take some measurements. So here we go. We got car set up here on the grease plates. As you can see, we got our string set up here. Let's have the same thing over here. We got it setting on the grease plate, so we have everything strung up. So basically now the car is sitting on the grease plate. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some measurements. So let me set, as usual, my camera's giving me a hard time. So let me go ahead and we'll see where we're at with this. Okay, and we'll take some measurements, as always. So let me get everything set up here, and I'll bring you along to watch some measurements. Alright guys, so hard to see it, but I'm back. So I got my contraption here with my angle gauge. So what I'm going to do here is go behind the string, and I'm going to go across the tire here. Okay. I gotta see if I can put the camera down more for you to see. Okay, so now I have it across here. And 90 will be 0. So this is we got to make sure we're going across the center of the wheel. Okay, so we get a right reading. As you can see, that gauge is perfectly straight up and down. And I checked the other side. The other side has the same reading. So what I want to do here is I got some specs here. So basically, I have a street, autocross, and track setup. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with a track setup because that would be way too aggressive. For a street setup, they want -0.5 degree, and for autocross and track, they want -1 degree of camber. So what I'm thinking of doing, if I can get 3/4 of a degree of that tire, where the top of the tire goes in, okay, I'm exaggerating, but I want the top of this tire in about 3/4 of a degree. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try and adjust that underneath, and let's see how that all goes. I'm going to climb underneath, and when I come back, we're going to check and see what what measurement we're at. All right, guys. So we got our angle gauge here, angle finder. It's hard to tell, but we got our 3/4 of a degree of negative camber on it. I'm going to take you guys along, if the camera will cooperate with me, and I'm going to show you guys what I did underneath the car here. Bear with me, because I don't want to doing this by myself. So let's go underneath here and take a look. And bring you with. So this is what we adjusted. Okay, so you have a nut here, hard to tell, but then you have your outer nut, lock nut, jam nut, whatever. Gotta loosen those. And then what I did, I took a vice grip. You can use a strap wrench, but a vice grip, you might booger it up, but you can sand it out and polish it. So then what I did, I put it on there, and I just turned that way, okay? Because what you want to do, is you only have an adjustment on the bottom. So what you actually want to do, you want to make that bottom radius rod longer, okay? Because then that's going to push the bottom out, which is automatically going to make the top pull in, which is going to give you your negative camber. So basically, I'll see if I can do it with my hand. So here's, I can't freaking. So here's your spindle, and here's your lower thing. So it's pushing it out, and see how it's going to come in when it pushes on it, okay? So that's how it works. That's a terrible thing, but you understand. If you make it longer on the bottom, it's automatically going to push it in and make it shorter on the top, which is going to give you your negative camber that you're looking for. So we got our negative 3/4 degree of camber. So now I'm going to take my 1 1/8 wrench. I'm going to tighten it up, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So when I come back, we're going to have everything locked. We're going to have everything adjusted, locked down, and then we're going to dive into doing our toe-in adjustment. All right, guys. So now it's time to check our toe-in. So what I'm going to do, measure the back of the wheel. We have 3 inches. Looks like 3 inches. So it looks like everything was 0. So what we want to do, the tie rod is located at the back of the spindle. So again, what we want to do is we want to loosen that lock nut, and we want to make that rod longer so it pushes this out, which automatically will push this in. So I'm going to take a dive underneath, make the adjustments. When I get the adjustments where I want, I'm going to come back. I'm going to explain how I do it, how I did it. Alright, guys, so we got our measurement here. We got 3, looks like 3 1/4, and we got 3 7/8. So obviously if it's towed in the front, your measurement in the front is going to be larger than your measurement in the back. So with that being said, I'm going to take underneath here real quick, like. Alright, let me get my flashlight out. And, alright, let me bring you up here. So what we did was, I don't know if you can, it's hard to see. This rod here, this is where the adjustment is. off of that. It looks like a brake cylinder, but that's where the adjustment is. And then there's a lock nut at the other end. You're going to loosen that lock nut up. I forget what size it is. Let's see if I can get a better shot. It's hard to see. There's a lock nut. You got to loosen that. You'll spin the rod, make it again. You're gonna make it longer, so that way it's gonna tip the back out. Make the back out, which is automatically gonna force the front of the tire in, which is gonna give you your toe in. So again, you're gonna want to make your tie rod longer to achieve the 1/8 inch of toe in that you want. So we got our 3/4 degree of negative camber. We got our 1/8 inch of toe in. I gotta check the front, but I gotta redo everything, and I think that's gonna be another video because it's been a long day. I'm other stuff going on. So anyway, like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Like I said, I'm gonna do a part 2 of this where we check the front and align the front. So until next time, watch out for each other, take care of each other. We see you next time right here on Big E's. Bye for now.